If movie titles were taken literally, what blockbuster film would suddenly be the most boring? The Lobster. It's literally just an hour and a half of uninterrupted stock footage of a lobster in a tank. Stuck in a tank? No wonder they're so claustrophobic. I don't think I shall ever recover from this one. 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. Train spotting. Look, there's one. Mission Impossible. You don't think people would enjoy watching Tom Cruise fail? I think that video of him on Oprah is still on YouTube. Men in Black. It'd be about Barney Stinson. Matrix. Let's do some math. Yay. Matrix 2. The Determinants. Grease. 50 Shades of Grey. Someone with a color palette describing the differences between 50 near-identical expressions of the most mundane and boring color our eyes can see, but still have a better plot than the original. Infinity War will just be a documentary about the Middle East. Avatar, just a bunch of Redditors and their PFPS. Warm Bodies. It's just footage of corpses decomposing in the heat, at normal speed. Pulp Fiction. So orange juice lore or something. Even better. Pulp Fiction refers to cheap and usually poorly written books and magazines from the early 20th century. 2 hours of somebody reading a crappy novel would be pretty boring. Mission Impossible. Sir, this mission is impossible. Okay, let's go home. The Men Who Stare at Goats, more like a documentary than Transformers. Imagine watching 2 hours of buzzing coil whine with the occasional bird stopping by to poop. I'll give Michael Bay credit, we still might get to see an explosion in this one. The Never-Ending Story. Much Ado About Nothing. Well, the much ado part could be interesting, but the nothing is spot on. Lake Placid. I read that his Lake Placid started to wonder what kind of movies we're mentioning here. There's an alligator in this lake. Oh cool. Is he really big or something? Quote, no, he's a regular alligator. Don't know why I brought it up? Honestly. Lord of the Rings. Imagine a dude who just rules some rings. Who lay on a table our whole movie cause well. They are just rings. I'm imagining a society where instead of humans there are rings. To move they roll, and as soon as they fall down it's like they are dead. And the movie will be about that. Frozen. It would be an hour and a half of just watching ice melt, and nothing else. If we're being completely literal, it wouldn't even melt. Still would be just as boring though. The Fifth Element. It would be a 2 hours long movie about boron. The Godfather, about a man who only agreed to show up at the church. What's this about taking care of the child? I'd actually watch that though. The Secret Life of Pets. Just a movie about your cat rubbing her butt all over your couch while you're at work. And your dog doing fuck all. Being sad and depressed. Alone in the dark. You can't see anything, and nothing happens because they're alone. The Rock. Infinity War. That would be a pretty long film. Scene. The Pentagon. The war is being debated. General Number 1, we need to work out the logistics of sending 5.56mm caliber bullets to the front. Should we place them loosely in a box? Or should we place them in magazines? Quote. General Number 2, let's get our logistics experts in and hear their opinions. General Number 1, it might also be good to invite some experts from other departments, just to hear their point of view in case they come up with something valuable. General Number 2, yes, let's do that. Raging guitar solo as scene moves to an office in DC, where various clerks are patriotically entering data into computers. 127 hours. Is it just a clock or the same movie but in real time? A Quiet Place. Groundhog Day. It involves an animal, so automatically not as boring as it could be. Hell, the actual Groundhog Day is actually broadcast on real TV because it interests some people. Tangled would just be some stuff tangled up. Reservoir Dogs. Bork Bork Fido needs a bath. Land Before Time. A film about what happened before the Big Bang sounds pretty cool. Jaws. It's just a bunch of photos of people's chins and teeth. My Left Foot. 12 Years a Slave. It would be a 12-year-long movie. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I can guarantee you wouldn't learn any secrets. Gone with the Wind. Something disappears in the wind. Tropic Thunder. Thunderstorms are cool and all, but Twilight, doesn't matter how you spin it, it will always asterisk suck. Asterisk. Greater than Twilight, doesn't matter how you spin it, it will always suck. I don't know. With taking the title literally, this seems like a rather dope nature documentary. A documentary about crepuscular animals. The Green Mile. Can you imagine just looking at a mile of greenery for a whole 2 hours? Sounds nice right now. Heat. The cinema screen projects IR radiation to the audience. The Longest Day. That would be a National Geographic documentary about June 20th. American Pie. Watching an American-originated pie can't be interesting. I'm surprised nobody mentioned Deadpool. Just an empty pool. Arrival. 2-hour stock footage of planes landing. Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Herr und Frau Schmidt. Monsieur et Madame Lefebvre. The Day After Tomorrow. It would just be the regular events of a Wednesday. The Accountant, and its sequels. The Accountant 2, Double Entry. The Accountant 3, Accounts Payable. The Accountant 4, Depreciation. The Accountant 5, Itemized Deduction. This is why Samuel L. Jackson insisted they keep the title, Snakes on a Plane. Because the name really did say it all. But other dud titles would be Citizen Kane, Seven, Toy Story, Casablanca, The Piano, Brokeback Mountain, The Bridges of Madison County, Rocky, Frozen. Brokeback Mountain would be awesome. It'd be like a documentary about failures to climb Everest. Bridges of Madison County, on the other hand, maybe not so much. Scream. You would be watching someone scream for a good hour and a half. The Cube. It would literally be just hours of footage of a Rubik's Cube. John Wick. Just about some guy called John Wick. Isn't that what it is anyway? A guy named John who makes candles. Snow White. Sleeping Beauty. 2012. 40-year-old virgin. Just a guy standing around who is 40. Home Alone. Literally a 4H webcam video of a teenager playing Minecraft, but you can't even see the game he is playing. The Color Purple. The Sixth Sense. Kinesthetics. Click. Jaws, because it would be just pictures of people's jaws. The Notebook. And hard to read the notes because they were writing fast. A Quiet Place. It's CCTV of a library. I can dig it. Pitch Black. This was my pick too. The costumes and sets were amazing, only you never get to see anything. No Country for Old Men. Just a bunch of seniors sitting around and complaining how the times have changed. Cloverfield. A Walk to Remember. Gone with the Wind. Movie opens, we see some leaves blow in the wind past the screen. End of movie. Once the IRL wind hits, the movie disappears. Frozen. Forrest Gump. It's Forrest Gump, but you never see anything from his perspective. It's just 2 hours of him on a bench talking to two people. Or, it's just some guy coming out of a forest and scraping stuff off his shoes. Goodfellas. Could be about the story of great friendships, not boring. 28 Days Later. The Terminal. Phone Booth 2002. Star Colin Farrell. I loved that movie. Jaws. Independence Day. Went to see the folks. Ate some hot dogs. Watched fireworks on TV. Went home and passed out early. Vertigo. 2 hours of assisted living residents getting their meds. Silence of the Lambs. Just a film of sheep standing quietly in a field. Jaws would become a documentary on dentistry. Spider-Man and Ant-Man would both be about entomologists. The sequels, though, could be more interesting. In Spider-Man: Far From Home, he has to go out in the field to collect specimens, or tour Europe with his research. Meanwhile, Ant-Man and the Wasp introduces new drama. As a wasp gets into his lab, will he stop it in time before his samples are destroyed or he gets stung? underscore underscore jump the broom underscore underscore imagine waiting for 2 hours for some dude to finally jump the broom. 8 Mile just PPL walking down an 8-mile road. Goodwill hunting. It'd just be someone looking for Goodwill stores. All quiet on the Western Front. Just a bunch men being repeatedly asked when the last time they changed their socks was. Spider-Man. Wouldn't say boring, but it would be a repulsive movie that's just 2 hours of a disgusting abomination of a man. Have you watched The Fly? Iron Man. If these walls could talk. Cabin in the Woods. Just approximately 2 hours footage of an abandoned cabin somewhere in the forest could be very peaceful though. The Untouchables. Great, some dudes that no one can touch. Guess who wins at the end? A movie about social distancing. Before midnight, just 11:59 p.m. The Matrix. Nobody wants to watch a movie about an actual Matrix. Taxi Driver. Depends on what the driver is doing. Jaws. The Men Who Stare at Goats. There would be a lot of staring. A Quiet Place. Gone in 60 seconds would be over in roughly 60 minutes. Jaws. Jaws. Tangled. Rapunzel takes her headphones out of her bag and spends 90 minutes entangling the monsieur. Deadpool. Just a broken pool table in the trash. I have no idea. Driving Miss Daisy. Would have GILF porno I'd watch. Jaws. 127 hours. Most people wouldn't be able to sit through the whole thing. 50 Shades of Grey. 127 hours. Pi. Just a movie about the number pi. That's pretty much all I understood of that movie anyways. Home Alone. No music, no camera movement. 127 hours, 5-day running time, winking face. Closing parenthesis. Harry Potter. Interesting. Tell me more. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.